to learn, this is something we can learn together, to stop apologizing for things that we cannot control. And of course, I always use myself as an example because, again, if I'm going to make a stance, I'm going to speak from my knowledge and then we could move to like a general statement type thing. And I can talk about work for an example. Um, this past month at work, not this past month, so like like end of September, middle September type thing. You see me, it's my problem is I'm such a caring and compassionate person to the point where I love when people are happy to know that there is a smile on somebody's face. And what had happened from that is they kept asking me like, stay more, do this more, can you work on this day, can we work on this day, we have nobody type thing. And I was like, yes, yes, yes. And what happened from that was I burnt out extremely bad, like really, 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 really bad, probably the worst burnout I've ever had in my entire life. And what happened was I told them like I'm really like not doing good mentally and physically right now, so I need like a break. And then I spoke to my boss about it and she told me like, "Oh, like can you just work these 2 weeks and then like after that you can like go on like a break, like a leave or something." And I was like, "Okay," because I knew I couldn't do it, but I said okay because I just didn't want to let her down. And what came out of that was I ended up back in that place working knowing that I couldn't and my body was shutting down. I worked one shift and I started crying. My body was like literally shutting down on me and I sat there apologizing to every single one of my managers like, "I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry." But the thing is, why am I sorry for something I can't control? A burnout is not something sorry can make up for, you know? And I realized like it's just because I've learned like in the past that even when someone else is making mistakes or doing something towards me, I'm the one who's to be remorseful because I've always just felt guilty for the fact that someone's feeling something based off of what I'm going through. And I'm like, it's not something I can control, and it's something that I'm working on to this day to not feel so remorseful and apologetic for things that are out of my power. But it's just like I feel bad, but then it's like, what about me, you know? What about me? You can prioritize others so much, but you cannot forget about yourself. And I find a lot of the time I forget about myself. And then it puts me in situations like this where my body is just giving out because I've just been giving, giving, giving to the point where I have nothing left to give. And then I'm left with nothing but numbness. And it costs you a lot because that feeling, oh, it doesn't go away after a day or a week. It takes a while. I spent like maybe a week or so and a little bit more just in my bed. I couldn't, like, I felt like I couldn't move. Like, I wake up, I go back to sleep, I get up for like a few minutes and I fall back asleep. I just felt my body was giving out on me. Like, it was giving out. So it's like, in a general statement, it's like there's things that like someone doing something to you, you should not apologize for how they're making you feel. They should be the one apologizing. And if they're sitting there making you feel guilty and gaslighting you to feel like it's your fault, it's not okay. It's not okay. I sat up there with someone who did that exact same thing to me, and you are hurting me, and I'm apologizing for the scars you're putting on my body. Why am I sorry? But you know why? I was more so sorry towards myself because I looked very foolish, and it was cruel of me to put myself somewhere where I knew someone was hurting me because at the end of the day, I always tell people it's my fault and they say it's not, but I say it is. And why is it my fault? Because I sat there and I let it happen. And that's because I let my heart take control and sit on the fact of what if, what could this be, the what the future looked like. But the future, I started to realize after some time, the future wasn't a future that was a one of peace and tranquility. It was a future that was coming of hardship and just hurt. And I couldn't do that to myself. I knew I wanted to go up, but I felt like I was just drowning in the water. And the more I swam, the more I fell deeper. So what I had to do was I had to get rid of it. I had to get rid of it and I had to learn to prioritize myself because a lot of the time we always prioritize people to the point where we forget about ourselves. Don't forget. It's okay to be caring and compassionate, but do not forget to water your own flower because when it starts dying, it's hard to get it to grow back. And that's my message. That's my message. That's all I'm going to say. I'm not going to do too much with it. My points are very straightforward and exactly how I want it to sound. So don't forget about yourself. It costs a lot finding yourself. Once you start to lose sight of who you are, finding it again, it takes time. We're getting older every day and time is passing. So that time that you're taking to get back to finding you, you could have been doing much more, but now you have to recollect what was lost. Don't let it happen, because I'm telling you guys from experience, it hurts. It hurts. You feel like this person in front of you is someone you never knew, and finding it, it's very difficult. It's very difficult. That's what I have to say for today. And I love you guys. And I'll catch you guys later. Ciao, ciao.